The fatal prediction. It was a stormy night, the kind where the rain relentlessly hammered against the windows, and the wind howled through the trees. Inside, 3 brothers sat huddled around a wooden table, their attention fixed on an ancient Ouija board. Their parents were away for the evening, leaving the house eerily silent except for the occasional gust of wind that rattled the window panes. The brothers had heard stories of those who had contacted the other side, but they'd never tried it for themselves. Now, with the curiosity of youth and the thrill of the unknown, they decided to test the limits of what they could understand. They placed their fingers lightly on the planchette, the small, heart-shaped device that would supposedly guide them to answers from the spirits. At first, the planchette remained still, motionless, as if the spirits were deciding whether or not to engage. The room seemed to grow colder, the air thick with anticipation. It wasn't long before one of the brothers, the oldest, leaned forward and whispered into the stillness, his voice barely audible over the rain. "Is anyone there?" The question hung in the air for a moment before the planchette began to move. Slowly at first, then more swiftly, gliding across the board until it landed on the word "yes." A chill crept down their spines, but they remained transfixed, unable to look away. They knew the rules, the warnings: never play alone, always respect the boar, and never ever ask questions that might invite trouble. But the temptation to go further was too strong. They exchanged glances, each of them wondering what the next question might bring. "Who are you?" one brother asked, his voice trembling slightly. But there was no answer. The planchette didn't budge. After a long silence, the middle brother, who had always been the most daring, spoke up with a question that made everyone in the room uneasy. "When will we die?" The planchette moved again, this time jerking toward the letters, slowly spelling out a chilling message. "Death comes now!" The air grew thick with dread, as if the room itself was holding its breath. No one spoke, but the sense of a doom was palpable. The wind outside howled louder, rattling the walls. They all knew that something was terribly wrong. Suddenly the phone rang, breaking the tense silence. It was their father, his voice raw with panic. He was sobbing hysterically, unable to catch his breath. "Boys, you have to listen to me. I swerved off the road. I crashed into a tree." Their father gasped, the sound of his sobs filling the line. "Your mother, she's gone. She didn't make it. I tried to avoid something in the road. A figure, a shadow." The connection faltered, and all the brothers could hear was the faint sobbing of their father as the phone call ended abruptly. The room fell into an oppressive silence. The Ouija board had been eerily right. The shadow their father had swerved to avoid was not just a figment of his imagination. It was something far darker, something that had been waiting for them, something that the board had warned them about. The brothers sat frozen, their hearts pounding, unable to comprehend what had just happened. What had they summoned, and what had they invited into their lives that rainy night? As the rain continued to pour outside, the brothers knew one thing for certain. They had asked for a glimpse into the unknown, but what they received was far more than they could have ever imagined. And from that night on, the shadow would linger in the back of their minds, reminding them that some questions are better left unasked.